as an individual member of the Commission, I think that the move by the Dutch government was very much mistaken, and I will talk to the Global Commission and see if we can't put out a statement, a very strong statement, saying how big a mistake it was. I think that just at a time when other countries in the world needed to follow the lead, the admirable lead that Holland had made, that particular government set things back, and therefore, I think let's hope that the new government very quickly reverse that policy.
Is there anybody else who wants to ask? Go ahead.
Soy Ben Dronkers del Departamento de Comunicación de AIRA. AIRA es una asociación canábica de consumidores y estamos aquí en la calle Ampla, en el número 7, así que...
Sorry. Soy Esther Salmerón del Departamento de Comunicación de AIRAM. AIRAM es una asociación canábica de consumidores de aquí de Barcelona, justo de esta misma calle Ampla, número 7, así que técnicamente somos vecinos, ¿no? Y les quería preguntar que, bueno, igual que se ha abierto el museo, se están abriendo muchas asociaciones, y qué le parece un poco la tarea que están realizando estas asociaciones y otros actores también relacionados con el mundo del cannabis para trabajar la despenalización de la sustancia y una posible regulación. Gracias.
I think that I think it's wonderful work, and I think that in the countries where they have effectively decriminalized cannabis, it's just treated like alcohol, and the consumption has not gone up. In fact, if anything, it's gone down. I mean, Dutch people, don't. Some smoke a little bit of cannabis, but most of them, they don't smoke very much. So by decriminalising, people can enjoy it like they enjoy a couple of glasses of of wine, and so I think it's fantastic, and I think this is it's part of history. I mean, cannabis is part of our rich history, and this museum, it's an incredible collection it's worth looking around. I've just had a chance to have a look around. It's very beautifully done.
Thank you. Yes.
Sorry.
I am from Secret, and I have two questions. The first is for Ben, and is if you can speak a bit of your personal search of this object that are in the museum. How was related with your life when you was looking for them and those things. And the second is for Todd. And I want to ask you, here in Spain, we are starting with the clubs. And there are clubs that are more related to the American system of people growing by themselves and controlling and that, no? And we have clubs also that are buying in the black market, like in Holland, the coffee shops, and selling to the associated people that are part from the association. And what system do you think that is better for us, for Spain, to make a legalization, the first or the second? Thank you.
Personally, for me, I believe in legalization. I believe decriminalization is a tad silly, where, the backdoor model, no disrespect to my Dutch friend, bringing it in the back door and not having the ability to produce their own cannabis creates a black market, and it creates a situation where there is not complete regulation, not complete control, and not complete taxation. Legalization, on the other hand, would provide for this. And while these clubs are doing their best to accommodate what's happening around them, I would like to see this treated more responsibly, like wine, like we do with other things that are completely regulated, completely taxed, and don't have these, silly little back doors where they tax him out the front door, but it mysteriously appears in the back door, and by doing so, creates a whole class of criminals I personally spent 5 years in an American prison, and what Richard was saying is totally true. It's 80% minority, 20% white people. It is a racial atrocity what's happening in America right now with the drug war, and in my eyes, it passionately needs to stop. I was the first Californian arrested after the California voters passed what is now medical marijuana, or Proposition 215, back in 1996. I fought them for 3 years, and I was denied a medical necessity defense, meaning I couldn't raise any of the reasons why I was growing the cannabis. I couldn't bring in my 5 doctors, and they railroaded many people like this into prisons with no defense. And this is why I believe legalization, true legalization, where we all become rational about this, is going to be the only overall solution that's going to work. It must be treated like alcohol, and this all has to be treated like adult time.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, I mean, what the Global Drug Commission say, and I mean, it's very interesting. The Global Drug Commission consists of 12 ex-presidents who ran their country with quite a tough approach to crime, to drugs. And after they'd left being presidents, they realized they made a very big mistake, which is why they, the ex-president of Mexico, the ex-president of Colombia, the ex-president of the United Nations, they all got together and they said, we made a big mistake in our lives, we must do something about it. And anyway, what the Global Drug Commission says is, at an absolute minimum, there should be decriminalization of all drugs. But some countries should experiment with legalization and with regulating and taxing drugs, and in particular marijuana. And I think that if Spain, for instance, was to regulate and tax marijuana, that would very quickly overcome their financial deficit. I mean, just that one move, it would make an enormous difference to the economy of Spain. You could make sure that the people had a quality of marijuana that was not, incredibly powerful or hallucinogenic. It could be pure marijuana, and I think it would help Spain get back on its feet again. But the Global Drug Commission just says, it's a very minimum decriminalization, but let's have some countries experiment with regulation as well, and perhaps Spain could be that country.
I would like to point out that economically America was built not on cotton production, but for the first couple hundred years on hemp production, because they needed sails, they needed ropes, they needed to be able to repair their ships, they needed blankets and linens and very common objects, and we did not get them from cotton until into the 19th century. It was, as is now, it was hemp that we really needed, and it did build America's economy, because when Columbus landed there, he found what? Tobacco, and brought it back. It was a drug crop, and he did not find cannabis. And now the U.S. Congress allows the Drug Enforcement Administration to eradicate cannabis in North America because it's not indigenous. It's not indigenous, and look what happened to the Indians. Remember leather, living nomadically. Here it was indigenous, and we have all of this great history. It could now, as it did in the past, build all of our economies back up.
I mean, there's just under $300 billion a year that goes into the underworld, goes into organized crime. If that money could go back into society, the difference it would make to all economies would be dramatic. I mean, the amount of people we could educate, the amount of people who could get proper health and proper medicine, and a good percentage of it can be used in creating clinics for people who have problems, so that instead of prisons, you create clinics where people who've got problems can be helped to get off their problem, get off their drink problems, get off their their drug problems.
It's also interesting if you think about it that we are from Sensi Seeds, and when I started to sell seeds, that's about 28 years ago, nobody grew their own marijuana in Europe. In America you had the homegrown, but in Europe not yet. That make a tremendous difference. Hundreds of thousands, I don't know how much, growing their own on the moment. Then I go to the hashish sector. Hashish is something that for thousands of years is a beautiful product. You see in the exhibition people working on it. And in the news, they say it's organized crime. Organized crime is not there. People in Afghanistan, for example, they grow very nice hashish for thousands of years. You can buy it in Spain, you can buy it in America, you can buy it everywhere. But the prices are so high, and it's all in the middle. It's all the criminal organizations who make money out of it. If we can buy regular and straight from Afghanistan, that should be the real aid. You know, we can have a fair trade with hashish and marijuana. And not like now from Morocco, it's mainly for the big people who make a lot of money for it. The poor people you see on the photos, what we have here, they don't make a dime and they call it organized crime. And the real organized crime, I think to myself, is in a way the politicians and a part of the dinosaur media. I'm sorry to say so, because it is a cat and mouse game. The media fuck up the politicians fuck up the media, and that's go on and on. And the truth is never come out. Later I will show you something that will remind you on that. Maybe I can give Fernanda for a minute?
Yes, I would really love to hear Fernanda for a minute. And especially, I heard about your smokers club only for women, so it's my personal interest actually. And Richard's, I go together with Richard to your club if it's possible. No, I would like to have you speak for one moment, and then I would like to finish off this press conference, and I would ask you all to go outside because the mayor of Figuera will open the museum officially. So that said, I will give the microphone to Fernanda, and then afterwards I will try to get you all out downstairs to make beautiful pictures there. Fernanda.
I think I can talk from here, yeah, of course, no problem.
Great.
Well, formerly my is a group of people who works in, my group of women is a group which is called M by M, o en español Marías por María, o Mujeres por la Marihuana, o Marujas por la Maruja. Es un juego de palabras y es una broma. It's a joke, it's a game, and it seems in Spain, Marías, Mujeres, Women is something similar, you know, so I play with the words. But it's a work because I've been involved with Arseca, which I was founder and president of honorific from since many years. And on my time working on the world of cannabis, I receive calls from women mostly every week. And there is always women most of the times who got problems of health with herself or with the family, the husband, the sons, etc., etc. And these women, when they approach the movement, the cannabis activists, they find most of the times men. And I think there are a lot of women too involved in it. So I decided to organize a club where women are welcome. But it's not only for women, we are men and women. So I trust our human life. And human life, we are both.
We wanted to come, but now we don't want to. Just a minute.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much, everybody, for being here.